Ever been stuck at airport security, heart pounding as they eye your medications like they're contraband? Or worse, landed in a foreign country only to realize your crucial prescription is sitting in a lost suitcase? If you've ever fretted about traveling with your meds, or just want to avoid an unnecessary headache at the airport, then this video is your essential guide to navigating medication travel in 2025. We're going to bust some myths, clarify those often confusing TSA rules, and show you exactly how to pack your vital medicines, including all the new updates you need to know for a stress-free journey. By the end of this, you'll be a medication packing pro, ready to fly without a single worry about your health. Traveling with medications can feel like walking a tightrope between staying healthy and complying with endless regulations. It's a dance between keeping your vital prescriptions safe and ensuring you don't accidentally break a rule that causes delays or, heaven forbid, confiscation. The rules, especially with the TSA, aren't always crystal clear and they seem to shift every year. But don't worry, for 2025 there's a strong push for transparency and safety, making it a bit easier to understand if you know where to look. Imagine Sarah, a seasoned traveler with type 1 diabetes. For years she'd meticulously packed her insulin, syringes and pump supplies, but every trip felt like a gamble. One time, a new TSA agent insisted her insulin cooler was too large, even though it was medically necessary. Another time, flying internationally, her doctor's note wasn't in the local language, causing a significant delay and a lot of frantic charades. Sarah's story isn't unique. It highlights a common problem. Even with preparation, travelers often face inconsistent interpretation of rules and a lack of clear, up-to-date guidance. So let's dive into the core principles for 2025 travel that would have saved Sarah, and will save you a lot of stress. First up, and this is the absolute golden rule, one that cannot be stressed enough, always carry on your essential medications. Seriously, tattoo this on your forehead if you have to. Medications, especially those that are critical for your health, sensitive to temperature, or just plain hard to replace, belong right there with you in the cabin. Think about it. Lost luggage happens. Extreme temperatures in cargo holds can ruin temperature-sensitive drugs. Delays are a fact of life in travel. If your heart medicine, insulin or anti-seizure medication is in a bag that's gone missing, you're not just inconvenienced, your health is at risk. A good rule of thumb is to pack at least a few extra days' supply beyond your planned trip duration. Why? Because flights get delayed, you might extend your stay, or pharmacies might not stock your specific brand. Better safe than sorry. Next, let's talk about how those meds should look. The TSA and pretty much every other security agency around the world strongly recommends keeping all medications in their original labeled prescription bottles or over-the-counter packaging. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but my pill organizer is so convenient, and yes it is. But convenience at home doesn't always translate to smooth sailing at security. For 2025, expect increased scrutiny if your medications are loose or in unlabeled containers. This isn't just about being difficult. It helps TSA officers quickly identify what they're looking at, speeding up the process and reducing the chance of delays or questions. If they can clearly see it's amoxicillin 500 marks for John Doe, they're much less likely to pull you aside for a secondary inspection. Moving on to your secret weapon. Documentation is your best friend. Seriously, think of it as your medication's passport. First, make sure all your prescription medications have clear, legible labels from the pharmacy. This sounds obvious, but sometimes labels fade or get scuffed. Give them a quick check before you leave. Now, for 2025, a doctor's note is becoming increasingly vital. This isn't just a suggestion anymore, it's practically a requirement, especially for a few key categories. We're talking about controlled substances, things like certain pain medications or ADHD meds. These are under a much tighter microscope. Also, if you're carrying large quantities of medication, more than what a typical trip would require, a doctor's note explains why. The same goes for liquid medications that exceed the standard 3-1-1 rule, or any medical devices like syringes, needles, or auto-injectors. If your medication isn't immediately recognizable, a note clears up any confusion. Your doctor's note should be on official letterhead. Clearly state the medication name, the dosage, and the specific medical condition requiring it. Think of it as a certified letter of explanation for your body's needs. And if you have a condition that requires specific medication or devices, carry a medical alert card. It's a small thing that can make a huge difference in an emergency. Now let's get into the nitty-gritty of specific medication types. This is where a lot of people get tripped up. The good news? Medically necessary liquids, gels, and aerosols, including liquid prescription medications, insulin, eye drops, and saline solution, are exempt from the TSA's 311 liquid rule. That's right, you can bring more than 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters if it's medically required. But there's a catch, or rather, a critical step. You must declare these items to a TSA officer at the security checkpoint. Don't just bury them in your bag. Take them out, place them in a separate bin for X-ray screening, and tell the officer what they are. While they're exempt from the quantity limit, the amount you carry should be reasonable for your flight and immediate needs. If you're flying for a weekend and have a gallon jug of a liquid medication, expect some questions. These liquids might also be subject to additional screening, which could mean opening the containers or using specialized equipment. Don't be alarmed, it's part of the process. For pills and solid medications, things are a bit simpler. Generally, there are no quantity limits for pills, capsules, or tablets in either your carry-on or checked bags. However, as we discussed, keeping them in their original containers is highly recommended for easy screening and to avoid any unnecessary hassle. What about medical devices like syringes, needles, or pumps? These are typically allowed when accompanied by an injectable medication, such as insulin or an epinephrine auto-injector. Again, you must declare these items to the TSA officer. And here's a crucial safety point. Any used needles should be disposed of in a hard surface disposal container, often called a sharps container. This protects both you and the screeners. Devices like insulin pumps, nebulizers, and CPAP machines are generally permitted. Be prepared to remove them from your bag for separate screening. Don't assume they'll just wave you through. Often they need a closer look. Finally, for refrigerated medications, you're in luck. Ice packs, frozen gel packs, and other accessories needed to keep your medications cool are allowed in carry-on bags. This is true even if they've partially melted or are slushy, as long as they're medically necessary. Just like liquid medications, these items will be subject to additional screening, so be ready for that. Now let's talk about what's new for 2025. The landscape of air travel security is always evolving, and 2025 brings some enhanced focus areas and potential pilot programs you should be aware of. First, keep an ear out for digital prescription verification pilots. Some major airports might begin testing systems for digitally verifying prescriptions, especially for controlled substances. This could mean faster cross-referencing with pharmacy databases. While it won't be widespread immediately, if you're traveling through a major hub, be prepared for this possibility. It's a step towards more efficient, secure screening. Second, expect increased use of advanced imaging technology, AIT. You know those full-body scanners? They're becoming more prevalent and sophisticated. They can detect anomalies within bags more effectively, which might lead to more thorough physical inspections of your medication containers if something isn't clear on the scan. It's not a personal attack, it's just the technology doing its job. Lastly, there's a push for standardized medical device declaration forms. Imagine a simple, optional form you can fill out in advance to declare complex medical devices or large quantities of medication. This is aimed at making your journey smoother and faster through security. While this is still in development, it signifies a move towards greater clarity and efficiency for travelers with medical needs. Keep an eye on the TSA website for these forms if they roll out. Now here's where things can get a bit trickier. International travel considerations. The TSA rules we've discussed apply to flights departing from US airports. But once you leave the US, you're entering a whole new ballgame of regulations. Every country has its own rules, and they can vary wildly. This is where your research comes in. Before you even think about booking that international flight, check with the embassy or consulate of your destination country regarding their specific rules for importing medications. This is especially critical for controlled substances. What's perfectly fine in the US could be highly restricted or even illegal in another country. Some nations have zero-tolerance policies for certain medications that are common prescriptions here. Don't just assume, confirm. A quick call or visit to their consulate website can save you a world of trouble. And here's a pro tip. If you're traveling to a non-English speaking country, consider having your doctor's note translated into the local language. Sarah learned this the hard way, remember? A professional translation can be a lifesaver, making communication with foreign officials much smoother. To wrap this up, let's go over some tips for a smooth journey. First, pack smart. Organize your medications in a clear, resealable bag. This isn't just for you, it's for the TSA officer. If they can easily see what's inside without rummaging, the process will be faster and less intrusive. Second, Be prepared for questions. TSA officers are doing their job. They're not trying to give you a hard time. Be polite, cooperative, and ready to explain your medications if asked. A calm demeanor and clear answers go a long way. Third, and perhaps most importantly, check the official TSA website, tsa.gov, before your trip. Regulations can and do change. What's true today might have a slight update tomorrow. It's your most reliable source for the most current and detailed information. Finally, consult your pharmacy. Your pharmacist isn't just there to dispense pills. They are a wealth of knowledge about traveling with specific medications. If you have unusual drugs or those requiring special handling, they can offer invaluable advice. By understanding and adhering to these guidelines, especially with the enhanced focus areas for 2025, you can ensure your medications travel safely and compliantly, minimizing stress and potential delays at security checkpoints. So next time you pack, you'll do it with confidence, knowing you've got all your bases covered. Ready to make your next trip even smoother? Check out our next video for a step-by-step guide on creating the ultimate travel health kit.